Nick, what's up, buddy? Show. What's up? Hey, four name girl. You got beat by Nick. How's it going, everybody? Um, hey, Merc. Hello, good morning. You guys see we got a deer visitor. Single, it looks like, I thought that was a male. A single male. Huh. Looks like a young male, though. It looks a little younger than, like, the couple that comes by. I think this is another male. Um, we've got some incredible things to talk about and go over today. Those of you that are here early, thank you for having your notifications on. Let me know if you got a notification. Yes, I hope you did. We're going to be talking about Wolf Blitzer promoting war. We're going to talk about some articles in the paper. Look at this one. State judge tosses DeSantis' map. Now, you guys might remember we watched a Tucker Carlson show episode where he claimed that Ron DeSantis wasn't racist. He claimed Donald Trump was not racist. And I said, well, that's provably false. I said, of course they're racist. And I said, I can bring you the receipts. Well, just this morning, I'm like, I can bring them the receipts this morning and show you that not only was it racist, but a judge disagreed with the racism and tossed the gerrymandered map that disparages black people out. Yeah. What do you think about that, DeSantis? Does that hurt your dick? Your little white dick? You fucker? Nice, huh? State judge tosses DeSantis' map. At least someone here in the state of Florida understood that DeSantis is a racist piece of garbage. So, calls congressional boundaries enacted unconstitutional, and I'll call them racist, before restoring black district. See that? I'm not really going to read you the whole article. I'm just going to say DeSantis tried to cut the voices off of black people, and a federal judge told him to go fuck himself. He's a racist, and Tucker Carlson is a racist who defends other racists by saying that racism doesn't exist. So I was reading into this paper, right? And this was interesting, right? And I got to the next page, and then I saw this. Disney theme park revenues double, even amid Ron DeSantis trying to shut them down. Their revenue just doubled. Because all of the people in the United States have heard so much about Disney lately, they've all decided to take vacations and go to Disney. Thanks, Ron DeSantis, you idiot. You just made them double their money. Your hate and your controlling bullshit and your struggle, your pathetic struggle to try to get people to vote for you, other haters and people that support liars like Donald Trump, it's completely turned around to bite you in your ass. And there's a whole bunch of people here in Florida that are sick of you, and they're going to vote you out. And I'm looking forward to that. I would love to see Ron DeSantis get voted out of office. So that's what I wanted to talk about as far as Ron DeSantis is the newspaper just completely destroying him. It's a good thing. Let's move on to this Wolf Blitzer bullshit. And then we're going to watch a Jimmy Dore video that I think is very important that you guys see. Okay, very important. What the most important thing that you guys take away from this is the United States federal government and mainstream media are promoting and asking you to pay your money for more war that we should not be doing at all. We shouldn't be at war at all. When we get into the Jimmy Dore episode here in a few minutes, you're going to see how this whole thing started. And you're going to see how the United States has played a huge role in creating this war so they can do this. This is what they want. They don't act like they want peace because they don't want peace. They wanted this war, and they drove us to this cliff that they're now pushing us off of. But let's first see Wolf Blitzer, the darling of the mainstream media, CNN, the head of CNN. Let's see him, and let's see how CNN pushes you towards more war, okay? Check this out.
Attacks have frustrated those Russian attempts, at least so far. For more on that, let's bring in the former Ukrainian Prime Minister, Arseny Yatsenyuk. Prime Minister, thank you so much
Sorry, it's
for
got bad
joining
audio.
us. As you know, Ukraine is clearly having some impressive success in the eastern part of the country. It says it's recaptured some territory around Kharkiv. But how much of the eastern Donbas region does Russia now control?
Well, that's true. Ukrainian army already launched a number of counter-offensive operations, and we are doing quite well. And I do really commend the Biden administration and bipartisan support. President Biden already signed a Land-Lease Act into law, and we expect that U.S. Congress is to pass, and President Biden is to sign $40 billion support act of Ukraine, and this really helps. On the other hand,
helps the war.
Look,
great.
I want to be very realistic. Putin decided actually to wage a new type of war, which is war of attrition. This is to be a long-lasting war. And no, we are not to underestimate this bloody Nazi-style dictator Putin. So that's the reason why so much needed support of Ukrainian military that is delivered by the United States is of crucial importance. I just got the report that American-made howitzers M3777 are already at the front lines, and they are defending Ukraine. So, on the one hand, we launched a counteroffensive. On the other hand, we are not to underestimate Putin and his bloody military.
You may have heard President Zelensky today say, and I'm quoting him now, with each new Bucha, with each new Mariupol, the desire to negotiate with Russia, he says, disappears. Instead of talks, will Ukraine keep pushing for a more decisive military victory to gain leverage for some deal down the road?
Well, here is the thing. Last month we discussed whether there is any chance for a diplomatic solution. I am, and I will be very skeptical about any kind of diplomatic solution with Russia. They had a number of options, and
This guy is actually being told to say these things. They don't want diplomacy. He's literally saying, we don't want diplomacy. We don't want to sit down at a table and talk. We want America to give us all of the power and all the money we need so we continue this war of attrition forever. That's literally what he just said. But wait till you hear what Wolf Blitzer says at the end of this little blurb.
number of window opportunities.
It's only 3 minutes.
Not even to wage this war.
Well, it's almost 4.
But Putin, there is no even off-ramp for Putin because he cornered himself. And that's the biggest problem.
I love that. He cornered himself. Putin has cornered himself. Oh, okay, narrative spinner. Spin us some more tales.
So I believe the only chance for us to cut any kind of deal is to win at the battlefield.
So, no, that's not cutting a deal. That's not doing a deal and going back to war. We have to win at the battlefield. Win. We got to win. We've got to win. Winning. Listen to y'all. Win. We have to win. Sounds like Donald Trump.
The only victory is...
I got news for you. No matter how this turns out, Ukraine's already lost. There's no winning ever. You guys have already lost. It doesn't matter the result of the war. Ukraine has lost. And America's laughing at you. Using you like an old rug, using you and stepping all over you, and not even taking you outside to knock the dust off your ass. We're laughing at Ukraine. They wave the flags and they send you all this money and they pretend that they care about you. All they care about is getting at your enemy, Russia, who they look at as an enemy. That's it. They're using you.
Victory of Ukrainian
Suckers.
military which is
Ukraine
to reclaim
suckers.
the territories that have been occupied by the Russian military. And only afterwards,
You got suckered into this.
maybe to realize that there is no other option rather than to push back and
Okay, here goes.
to sit
Listen.
at some kind of negotiating table and
Listen.
To hammer out the deal. But the deal is very clear. Ukraine is to restore its territorial integrity, and Russia is to respect Ukraine as an independent country.
And the speedy delivery of that U.S. weaponry, the howitzers, and all the other equipment that will certainly help in your efforts. So the former Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk.
No doubt.
Thank
Some kind of negotiating table and
hear you, Blitzer?
to hammer out the deal. But the deal is very clear. Russia is to respect Ukraine as an independent country.
Right here, listen.
and
Wolf.
the speedy delivery of that U.S. weaponry, the howitzer.
Oh, the speedy delivery of that U.S. weaponry. The speedy delivery of that U.S. weaponry. We've got to get the weapons to the war. We've got to get more of that American money spent on the weapons so that we can do more war in Ukraine and kill more Russians. Oh, look at, you can literally just see the foam building around Wolf Blitzer's mouth. He's just he's rabid over this war. Are you kidding me? It's disgusting to watch, isn't it? There's mainstream media right there promoting this war, promoting the effort for Ukraine. Now, with this fresh in your mind, I want you to see why this is all going on. I want you to see why this is happening, okay? This is probably one of the best uploads yet that Jimmy Dore has ever done. And he exposes this for exactly what it is. And those of you,
exactly what he said. And now
you guys that are pro-Ukraine right now, you might want to leave this show. If you're pro-Ukraine and you got your little blue and yellow flag on your social media and you're promoting this more money, yeah, just go ahead and turn my show off right now. You don't need to see this. Everybody out there who can think for themselves, that has the ability to actually reason and common sense their way through things, you guys should stay and watch. You're going to see something here that is quite eye-opening. And Jimmy Dore explains it so well.
I just want to bring you up to date and show you that the situation we're in the Ukraine with Russia was not only avoidable, but it was predicted by every expert who ever talked about it.
So that is so important, and it's very important that you guys grasp what Jimmy Dore just said right there. He said it was predicted years ago that this was going to happen in Ukraine, and the most important part was it could have been avoided. Nobody had to die. All of these children and women and elderly in Ukraine that you see are getting destroyed, and all the rape and all the murders and the war crimes, we could have stopped this. America could have stopped it. Americans could have stopped it. But instead, we encouraged it because this is exactly what Joe Biden and the Biden administration want right now. They want war. They want war with Russia. That is what the dinosaurs do. That is what they were taught, and that is all they know. And when you wonder why Joe Biden and Kamala Harris go beg you for more money to send to Ukraine, this is going to be what answers all of your questions.
Of course, Joe Biden and the United States just ignored all that, and it's as if the United States and NATO wanted a confrontation like this to happen in Ukraine. It's as if.
Let's do it, Dab.
So I'll show you. Here's what Aaron Mates tweeted out. He says condemnations of Putin without acknowledging that the conflict started in 2014 are meaningless. United States backed the Maidan coup in 2014 and fueled the ensuing Donbass war, where 14,000 plus have died with the United States weapons.
United States
so
weapons.
I'm going to show you a video where Lindsey Graham and John McCain brag.
It's very important that you guys realize that 14,000 people were murdered in Donbass, right? Russians, by the Ukrainians using American weapons. Okay? We've been at this war for years. We've been feeding this war. We've been stroking this war and stoking this war and putting the fuel in the fire all along. And now we sit there, oh, why is Putin invading Ukraine for no reason at all? There's no reason for him to do that. He just decided to move his troops on the border and just walk in there. Shocking up. We're so appalled. Oh.
and Adam Schiff brag about arming
Wait
those
for it.
people in the Donbass to fight Russia.
Wait for it.
Russia's invasion is a new phase. It's illegal, but not out of the blue. And so
Nice dab.
this gentleman did a Twitter thread. He said, most fascinating thing about the Ukraine war is the sheer number of top strategic thinkers who warned for years that it was coming if we continued down the same path. No one listened to them, and here we are. Small compilation. So it goes from Kissinger to, here's the first guy. This
I
first
gotta
guy's
put
name is Mearsheimer. Now, I never heard of this guy before, but this is a speech he gave in June 2015, and he's considered like the leading guy on foreign policy and international politics and stuff. And he gave this speech, so this is like, what, 7 years ago? And
7 years ago.
listen to what he has to say, what got us to this point.
But I actually think that what's going on here is that the West is leading Ukraine down the primrose path. And the end result is that Ukraine is going to get wrecked.
Okay. So let's stop right there. I want to make sure you heard what he said. America, this is 7 years ago, America is leading Ukraine down the primrose path, and this will only lead to Ukraine getting wrecked. Did you hear that? Our deer is still back there, so hold on. Let me just move the camera a little bit. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, deer is still back there. Just way in the back. There we go. Right in the center of the screen. America is leading Ukraine down the primrose path, what will lead to Ukraine getting wrecked. That man said those words 7 years ago. So if you're still waving your blue and yellow Ukraine flag on social media, claiming that we need to send billions of dollars to Ukraine to further this war against Vladimir Putin, keep listening, because if you've made it this far, I'm impressed. You've already shot you down. All you little yellow and blue flag wavers, y'all just got shot the F down, right? That quick. You're all starting to question yourselves now, aren't you? Yeah, stick around. Listen. Listen to this part. It gets better.
And I believe that the policy that I'm advocating,
Glasses came
which is
off.
neutralizing Ukraine and then building it up economically and getting it out of the competition between Russia on one side and NATO on the other side, is the best thing that could happen to the Ukrainians. What we're doing is encouraging the Ukrainians to play tough with the Russians. We're encouraging the Ukrainians to think that they will ultimately become part of the West, because we will ultimately defeat Putin and we will ultimately get our way. Time is on our side. And of course, the Ukrainians are playing along with it. And the Ukrainians are almost completely unwilling to compromise with the Russians and instead
You hear
want
that?
to pursue a hardline policy.
Hear that?
As I said
They won't
before,
compromise.
they do that.
They just want war. And America was there to say, well, don't worry, start a war with them. We'll give you weapons. Yeah, great.
I think it would make much more sense for us to work to create a neutral Ukraine. It would be in our interest.
In our best interest to create a neutral
Certainly it would be
Ukraine.
in Russia's interest to do so. And most importantly, it
This
would
guy
be
knew
in
exactly what he was
Ukraine's
saying.
interest to put an end to the crisis. Thank you.
Interesting that you never hear that guy on the MSNBCs.
Right? They won't
or
put
the
him on TV.
CNNs.
They won't
Or
put
even
him
Fox
on
Newses.
CBS or ABC or NBC.
I never heard that guy
They
anywhere.
won't put him
You
on
ever heard that guy
CNN. They won't
anywhere,
have him
Max?
on Fox News.
Well, there's a reason, and it isn't necessarily related to Ukraine or Russia. It's that he co-authored a book along with another top international relations professor, Stephen Walt, called The Israel Lobby. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh. No, I don't remember that, but that's it. He's dead then.
It was a
Dead.
best-selling book. It was really the first book by two of the top IR
Fuck with the
scholars in
Israel
the
lobby.
U.S. on the existence of an Israel lobby, and then they were painted as
4 years
anti-Semites.
now.
Like the
4
whole
years.
campaign that we saw against Jeremy Corbyn was sort of rolled out against them, and they had their reputations destroyed day after day by people like Atlantic editor and former Israeli prison guard Jeffrey Goldberg. So Mearsheimer's already been kind of marginalized, and that's maybe why you don't see him on MSNBC, although he is so much more distinguished and has far more credentials than the clowns you see on there, like Michael McFaul.
Well said.
So there's one amazing expert who you would never think that. even watching other YouTube shows, you would never think like, wait a minute, we intentionally pursued this path that was going to lead to this confrontation, knowing that the Ukraine people were going to pay the price, and we are hanging them out to dry. And we encourage this. So again, it's amazing to me that you're not going to hear this anywhere else except on the Gray Zone or maybe Aaron's Twitter feed. I haven't heard anybody, I haven't seen it, anybody else covering this correctly in the United States. Oh, I saw Glenn Greenwald did it okay. He did a good job. But I have some more experts I'm going to show you that say basically the same thing. And because I just want to make the case, it's overwhelming. But I'm shocked, actually. I know, I can't believe I am. Maybe it's because I'm naive and stupid and gullible. And I thought that people learned a lesson from Iraq or Syria or Libya or Afghanistan. They haven't. Are you as stunned as I am with the poor media coverage?
Not after Russiagate. This was all kind of, I got to say, this is kind of expected. I'm a little bit, well, we can talk about it. I'm a little bit shocked at how, I think, even, I would imagine even the, Russian security apparatus is a little bit shocked by how emotionally the West is reacting. And they're basing all their decisions on hysteria, including kicking Russian students out of universities, punishing Russian artists for refusing to publicly condemn Putin. There's the most famous hockey player here in Washington, Ovechkin. He's Russian. There's enormous pressure on him from the sports media to denounce Putin publicly. Texas and the Texas Restaurant Association has banned all Russian products. A friend of mine who teaches in New Jersey public school sent me bulletins where they're doing, talks for the students on how to support Ukraine in like public schools. I mean, it's gotten, and then we watched the State of the Union last night where, if you weren't wearing blue, you had to wear yellow or yellow and blue with the Ukrainian flag. AOC had a little like pendant on for Ukraine, and there was a clip
that's for
in
AOC.
honor of Operation Paperclip, I guess, holding it to her shirt.
Fuck you,
but
AOC.
I mean,
fuck you.
It's almost like we have
turned
to all
into
be
quite a
Ukraine
war hawk,
posters.
hasn't she?
And that, I mean,
Isn't
that's
that funny? She's becoming the next Nancy Pelosi quicker than shit. All of a sudden, she's moving right in there. She's going to be the next mama bear. Yeah, send more money to Ukraine, man. Send it. Send all of our money there. Screw the poor. Screw the homeless.
That's a little bit over the top. I guess I didn't
Screw the
expect
pandemic.
that, along with all the other
war.
meaningful decisions.
We're
emptying the tank on
crackheads
sanctions, like removing
when it
Russia
comes to
from the
war.
SWIFT system, targeting the Russian central bank. All of this will come back to bite the U.S. economy. And the fact is, most Americans care more about gas prices and inflation than they do about fighting
Backyard
for
Shadow's
some
giving the finger. I love
oligarchic
it. Nice, I see it.
autocracy thousands of miles away.
The big shadow.
Here's Noam Chomsky. Here's what he has to say. This was predicted. I think this is from 2015, maybe. Here we are.
No
The
more
idea
comments.
that
Listen to this.
Ukraine might join a Western military alliance would be quite unacceptable to any Russian leader. This goes back to 1990,
Ukraine.
when the Soviet Union collapsed. There was a question as to what would happen with NATO. Gorbachev agreed to allow Germany to be unified and to join NATO. It's a pretty remarkable concession, with a quid pro quo that NATO would not expand 1 inch to the east. That was the phrase that was used.
So Russia has been provoked.
Well, what happened? NATO instantly moved to East Germany. Then Clinton came along, expanded NATO right to the borders of Russia.
Oh, did you hear that? Then Clinton came along and expanded NATO right up to the borders of Russia. After they said they weren't going to do it, they went and they did it anyway under Bill Clinton. Now you know the history. Now you know, as Jimmy Dore likes to say, now you know the rest of the story.
Well, there are the new Ukrainian government, the government after the overthrow of the preceding one. The parliament voted, I think 300 to 8 or something like that, to move to join NATO.
Which you can understand why they would want to join NATO. You can see why Petro Poroshenko's government would probably see that it's protecting his country.
No, it's not protect. Crimea was taken away after the overthrow of the government, right? And is not protecting Ukraine, is threatening Ukraine with major war. Well, that's not protection. The point is, this is a serious strategic threat to Russia, which any Russian leader would have to react to. That's well understood.
Well, it's well understood by Noam and Jimmy and me. I wonder if it's well understood by you too. Yeah, Paul Harvey, and now you know the rest of the story. Thank you. Yes, Paul Harvey. My father used to listen to him on Sundays out in the garage on the radio. So now you guys know the history. And now you know that years ago, people knew what this was going to lead to. It's not like there was some mystery. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they knew that they were going to use Ukraine as a battleground. And Americans didn't care. Because, it's not America.
So that's predictable, exactly, happening exactly what he said. And now here's Stephen Cohen, who's recently passed, was leading scholar on Russia. I think we had him on our show a few times. So here he is.
If we move the forces, NATO forces, including American troops, toward Russia's borders, where will we be then? I mean, it's obviously going to militarize us.
I have not gotten this far into the video, so this is the first time I'm hearing this along with you.
Situation, and therefore raise the danger of war. And I think it's important to emphasize, though I regret saying this, Russia will not back off. This is existential. Too much has happened. Putin, and it's not just Putin. We seem to think Putin runs the whole of the universe. He has a political class. That political class has opinions. Public support is running overwhelmingly in favor of Russian policy. Putin will compromise at these negotiations, but he will not back off if confronted militarily. He will.
So these are the smarty pantsies guys in the world that know about this situation the most.
So what he's saying is he won't back off if he's confronted militarily, meaning that if NATO goes and puts installations on the border of Russia, he's going to respond. That's literally what this man just said. They knew what was going to happen before
And
it happened.
they all predicted this is going to happen if the United States keeps pursuing this policy, and of course we did. And so did the Ukraine government, which had no interest in negotiating, and I wonder why. Because the West didn't want them to, because they wanted to force this. Here's another expert. Most recently, right before the war broke out, this is famous economist Jeffrey Sachs. We've shown Jeffrey Sachs on this show many times, and he told the truth about Syria on MSNBC, and the whole network almost melted down. So Jeffrey Sachs is writing a column in the FT, what is that?
Financial Times.
Financial Times, warning that NATO enlargement is utterly misguided and risky. True friends of Ukraine and global peace should be calling for the United States and NATO compromise with Russia. So there's...
Do you guys remember when Ted Cruz was arguing to have the Nord Stream 2 pipeline shut down? I've got it right here. Here, I'm done with it. You're welcome. I made a clip. He retweeted it First clip ever made. You made a clip, bro? I'm glad. Thank you for making a clip, man. Are we deer free? That was a very good deer show this morning, wasn't it? Deer show. I forgot what I was saying, actually.
There's Jeffrey Sachs. Here's someone else. Here's CIA Director Bill Burns. In 2008, he said Ukrainian entry into NATO is the brightest of all red lines for Russia. And I have yet to find anyone who views Ukraine in NATO as anything other than a direct challenge to Russian interests. There's another expert, Malcolm Fraser. Fraser.
The Nord Stream 2 pipeline, I remember. Ted Cruz was on the House floor of the Senate, you know, whatever, saying America and Joe Biden need to shut down the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that goes between Russia and Germany. It's a gas pipeline, natural gas. And he was saying why. And my response to that was, well, it's nice to see a politician using their political capital, using what they can do to get a message out. However, I disagree with this message. I think that, you know, this was before Ukraine. I remember having this conversation with you guys. I don't know if any of you guys can remember this, but I said on this show, I said, Russia and Germany have a right to do business. If Russia wants to sell natural gas to Germany or vice versa, why is America interfering in that? Do you guys remember that? We talked about it. And I defended Russia on that. And I said, that's fucked up. And you want to know what else I said? That's an act of war. I said, imagine if Russia did that to us. Who could find that video? I was sitting in my living room. I remember this. You guys could find that video about me talking about Ted Cruz and the Nord Stream 2 pipeline? You will literally hear me talking about this before Ukraine war. And I bet you I said it's an act of war. And I probably said I wouldn't be surprised if Russia responds. And I probably said they were going to do something with a cyber attack. I'm going to go back and find that show. If any of you guys could find it, that would be great. Right. We would do the same thing if Russia... Well, that's exactly what I said. I said, what if Russia messed with one of our pipelines? I even mentioned the pipeline. I said, what if they messed with like the XL2 pipeline or whatever? What if Russia did that to us, prevented us from building a pipeline between us and, I said, Brazil. I remember. Do you guys remember this? Let's find that show. Let's find that show. And then we could make some clips about that. You know? Yeah, because of money, cannabis, I know, right? Let's move on.
22nd Prime Minister of Australia warned in 2014 that the move east by NATO is provocative, unwise, and a very clear signal to Russia. He adds that this leads to a difficult and extraordinarily dangerous problem. So we created this problem.
We created
Former
this problem.
U.S. Defense Secretary Bob Gates, in his 2015 memoir.
It's not a problem for Raytheon. It's not a problem for Northrop Grumman. It's not a problem for Lockheed Martin. It's not a problem for BlackRock. It's not a problem for the United States federal government and all the lobbyists that have been pushing for this. It's not a problem for them, Jimmy. Right? He would agree with me. It's not a problem for them. That's why. You guys want to know the why? Because those are the people that run our government, and that's what they want. That's how they choose to make their money, because they're a bunch of...
Said moving so quickly to expand NATO was a mistake. Trying to bring Georgia and Ukraine into NATO was truly overreaching and an especially monumental provocation. So we've been provoking this, and every expert who's looked at it or commented on it has said so. Except you never see any of this in the news right now, and so people are running around like morons, pledging their unity with the people of Ukraine, and they don't realize they're propping up a Nazi organization.
Exactly. And every single one of these people that you see cheering on the war in Ukraine because they think it's something against Russia is completely ignoring the fact that America helped feed this and helped start it. And the smartest people on the planet were warning the moronic leadership who was like, we cannot hear you because we do business with Norfolk Grumman and Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, and we're doing business with BlackRock, and we're doing lots of business, we're making lots of money, we're selling bombs, we're selling missiles, we're selling tanks, we're selling guns, blah, 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 we're selling expertise, we're going over there and teaching and learning, blah, 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 we're selling software, and Elon Musk is over there and bringing his satellite systems and blah, 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 blah. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear a word you say. Right?
That just imprisoned all the opposition newspapers and their opposition political leader. Did you know that they did that? Yeah.
Because douchebags choose to go into professions where they thrive off of people's misery. That's it. People decide to take jobs in professions that thrive off of people's misery and death. You choose that job. You know, that job didn't grab you by the fucking ballsack. You know, you went and you applied for that bullshit. You know, you could have been a doctor. You could have been somebody that does something nice, paints beautiful pictures. You could have done all kinds of nice things, and you chose to go repossess people's cars. You chose to go be a cop and give people fucking speeding tickets because you're a fucking cunt. And all the people that choose to work for Raytheon and Martin and Lockheed Martin and Blackwater and all of you fucking cunts that decided to go into the military and work for the United States government, it's your fault. You guys suck my dick. All of you sucking my dick. Right now. Now, we've got this nice sunbeam here. I think we could blow some smoke rings. A little bit of smoke ring action here. Possibly. Listen to some Jimmy Dore. Get some smoke ring action here.
So here's another one. Paul Keating, a former Australian Prime Minister in 1997, said expanding NATO is an error, which may rank in the end with the strategic miscalculations which prevented Germany from taking its full place in the international system in the early 20th century.
AI.
Here's Sir Roderick Lynn, former British ambassador to Russia. He warned a year ago that pushing Ukraine into NATO is stupid on every level. He adds, if you want
to robot dogs that kill people. Yeah, I'm gonna build tanks. I'm gonna sell guns. You know, I'm gonna go be in war. I'm gonna be a soldier. I'm gonna be a police officer. You know, you guys are the dregs of society. Britain will get dragged into this war. Whatever. You guys do what you want. You guys make some money. Whatever. You guys can make some money too. Hey, man, there's enough money to go around for everybody in this war, bro. Bring it. Make some money. You know. Retweeted. Thank you, Big Merc.
War with Russia. That's the best way of doing it. So here's another one. This is from Pat Buchanan. In his 1999 book, A Republic, Not an Empire, he said, by moving NATO onto Russia's front porch, we have scheduled a 21st century confrontation. And here it is. So I'll stop there for a moment and bring Max back in. And
why do we have to be at war with Russia, man? That's my question.
I still can't get over my jaws agape at just the journalistic malfeasance that's being perpetrated.
Hey, Mom. He's hungry. Harley, come on. Harley, come on. I smacked him. Why? Smacked him right on his face. He knows. He looks, I smacked him right on his nose, and I smacked him on his nose, and he acted like he was going to run away from me, and he just looked at me. Because I was feeding him. And I'm like, don't you ever do that again. He doesn't do that to me, because I will smack him on his butt. Well, he did it to me once before. He jumped up on my lap with his claws, and I smacked that cat on his ass right as he was trying to get away from me, and I got him good, man. He was gone. I didn't see him for 24 hours after that. I was like, you ever jump on me with fucking claws, ever. You know? That's how I feel about that. To get into growing plants and teaching children building a future for people to live without the stress of life we live today. So, yeah, I think we're making good points here. Let's keep going and just see where this goes, because this goes. And I want to blow some smoke rings here. We've got sunlight. I got you. Lighting guys coming today.
The people of the United States right now, the propaganda
Outdoor
that
lighting guy.
they're being bombarded with at every turn
Cheers.
is
Smoke rings.
overwhelming. I mean, I don't know how a normal person, like if I didn't study this, if I was just a regular comedian, I probably wouldn't know any. I would think the same thing. But it just keeps happening. We keep inventing a new boogeyman. There's never not a boogeyman for the United States. And why did we want to get Ukraine into NATO? Many reasons.
It's always
a
Russia.
big one is so that we could sell them weapons, because once you get into NATO, you have a certain amount of military hardware you have to maintain. And so that's why we expanded to all those countries. NATO is not a defensive organization anymore. Anyway, let me throw it over to Max.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think Ukraine is a Nazi organization, or that its population are majority Nazi-like people, or that they even approve of the Nazis in their midst. But even if a president like Vladimir Zelensky wanted to, and he did run on a kind of peace ticket with no shortage of support from the Russian-speaking population, even if he had wanted to,
I can't listen to Max Blumenthal. I can't listen to them anymore. I can't listen to Max Blumenthal. Isn't that funny? I was interested, now I'm just totally lost interest in what was being said. Moving on. Moving on. Bye. Moving on. Let's move on to now for something completely different. Gesundheit, Father. So, I got rid of that stupid fence that was outside, and I put fencing around each plant, and it opened up the whole area very nicely. I can actually probably move the camera and show you guys out there so you guys can see my little let me see here. I made it that might work. Well, not really. You can't really see all of it from there. But here, let me see what you're looking at right there. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, man. So now you can see each plant has 4 poles around it instead of like 30 poles over there. Let me brighten that up a little bit. But I'm not done yet, so those poles are going to be painted green, and it's going to make a big difference, actually. Yeah, those poles are going to be painted green, and they're going to be hammered down. I bought a 4-pound hammer, so I'm going to hammer those poles down so they're all the exact same height. They're all going to be nice and level when I'm done. They're all going to be nice and straight, and it's going to look really pretty. You'll see. But that's the yeah, I just have to finish, that hammer will come today, or I think it's coming today. I'll go and I'll hammer them down, and the paint will come tomorrow or the next day, and I'll paint those things green, and it'll be a done deal, man. It's gonna be nice. Got this one little piece of fence right there that I haven't cut off yet. It doesn't need to be cut. It can just be latched on. You can see it's kind of hanging over. I can fix that real easily. There's extra fence on there that I don't need. It's already nice because we've already got access to that whole area now. You can walk all through there. There's more. The backyard is bigger, considerably bigger. That was a large portion of the backyard that was just cut off with this stupid fence. It was very wasteful. Now I got all these extra poles. So I could take those poles, and I could put them down in the creek, and I could put some boards in there and dam that up to be bad as shit. Especially with that 4-pound hammer, Is that an out of bounds? No, it's not out of bounds. I don't think there really is an out of bounds, man. You just have to throw from wherever you land. Dude, Rogan yesterday, he was on the leash, and I had the leash around one of my frisbee golf poles, which are just PVC, and they're not deep in the ground at all. They're just a few inches in, And I had thrown his leash around one of those poles, so he thought that he was tied up. But these 2 deer were back there, and he'd been watching them all this time, and then he just decided to just run and pull the pole right out of the ground. And with his leash behind him, like 20 feet behind him, was trailing on the ground like an anchor, like a boat anchor. He chased after those 2 deer, and they just kind of hopped away from him a little bit, and they went into the tree line, and he went into the fucking tree line with the leash behind him. And they went under my neighbor's property, then they went into my other neighbor's property, then they came out in their backyard, and Rogie went through my neighbor's property in the brush, right? Started coming out, and boom, got stuck. The leash got caught on his stick, and he stopped, and he just sat there. And I was watching him, and I was barefoot. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to run in the house and grab my flip-flops, right? But he was stuck there, so I went into my neighbor's backyard, and I was like, Rogie, come here, because I figured he could have just pulled it out if he just tried, you know. And he just sat there and stared at me like I was an idiot. And I was like, okay. So I'm just going to walk back here and unleash him, and then I'll pull the whatever. So I walk back there, and it's kind of precarious. I'm stepping on these sticks, you know, so I'm not stepping on the ground because it was all brush, and I couldn't really see the ground, right? I get to him, which is like I'm 20, 25 feet in to this brush. It's really bad. It's really thick. And there's vines all over the ground and shit. And here comes a deer. I unclick him. There comes two deer. I unclick him. And he goes out in the yard, you know, and I pull the leash, and boom! Luckily, because it was 20 feet, and I unhooked it, and I pulled it in. Right, I got the whole leash, and I put that back in, and I turn around to walk out from where I was. And I start walking on the ground, and the ground, I didn't realize this, but the ground was totally covered with those, I don't know if you guys know what those seeds are like. They look like giant sand spurs. They're balls. They're smaller than a ping pong ball. They're like the size of a God, man. They're like a large marble, but they've got spikes all the way around them, and they're like wood. They're almost like wood consistency, but they look like sand spurs, man. They look like stickers, you know, like totally round. Have you guys seen those seeds? Are those called sweet gum? Is that called sweet gum? Is that what that is? Sweet gum? The deer are trying to get to the citrus trees right now, and they can't. It's funny. They're in there, and it's like the first time they've been in that area, and they're like, ooh, there's good clover down here. They're right there, man, chilling. But they're just off camera a little bit. It almost looks like two males. Yeah, so the ground is covered with those sweet gum seeds. And I start walking, and I'm like, ow. Oh, and I look down, you know, to see what the hell I'm walking on. And they're everywhere. It was carpeted with those things. And I didn't know when I was walking back there. I had no idea. And I'm trying to get out of there, and I'm just like, ow, ow, ow. I'm barefoot. Ow, ow, man. Hi, Courtney. Round things stick to clothes really bad with little hooks. We call them sand spurs. These things looked like giant sand spurs, man. Here, I want you guys to see these deer. Hold on. Hold on a second. Nobody asked you to do that. Psst, unreal. right, you guys, I gotta take my doggy outside, so I'm gonna put him on the leash and you're gonna see us out there. Let me just turn the brightness down on that a little bit. Give me a second here. That's good, right? Okay, I'll be back. Oh, those deer, crazy, huh? What's going on with this? Here, it's okay. Here we go. Totally unimpressed deer, right? They are totally unimpressed. They are. Ugh. Carrying up to grow some trees. No. Day, apple, one day. Day, a apple, one day. Yeah, no, not trying to grow. Don't feed, hashtag keep it wild. There's a male, a female, and a fawn. And she was being aggressive. That's why I brought Rogan in. When they stomp like that, you saw her, she got in between Rogan and her baby. And when she was walking, she was stomping her front feet into the ground. You don't want to mess with that. That is a message. And she says, don't come closer. I will fucking stomp you with these death stompers. You know? It was really, really cool to see that, actually. Not the first time I've seen that. All three of them are right there, man. They're coming back into the yard. Closer, I should say, coming in. Does Rogan have fur on the bottom of his paws? Because of better traction and talent. I don't think he does. He's a short-haired dog, but I'll look. Thank you for telling me that. I'll look and see what his paws look like. Got him these mittens, you know, that he wears on his feet. He doesn't mind wearing them, but it is a pain in the ass to put them on. You know? They're really cute, though. He looks really cute with them on. Now there's 3, right? Yeah, all 3 of them are standing together. It's a family. It's a family of 3. I guess I could take the brightness down one more notch there. I can move the camera here like this. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Eat that high grass that you're right next to. Why don't you eat the high grass, man? You see all that high grass? Well, they got to come in here and mow it today anyway. They'll probably be here any minute. God, I got an estimate on sod, and the guy's like $3,700 or something. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna let it grow in. It's like, that is just not what we were expecting the price of sod to be. You get to see that every day, just about every day. Yeah, I like to work out there, you know, and they don't mind being around me while I'm out there working. When I was ripping that fence down, they were right there, and the dog was tied up with me. There were 2 of them out there in the yard the whole time I was working. It was great. In fact, I got them in the video. You know, they're in the video. So I got some new wire cutters. I can go out there and cut the fence real easily to go make that one section really nice. It's going to look a lot nicer to not have that fence doubled up there. And then set the poles down nice and straight, you know. It'll be nice. It's cleaning crew Thursday, and one of the cleaning crew girls is had too many bands, had to retake my test in case. Huh. There's a deer. It's about to move back into the picture here. From the right, the fawn. There it is. These are exciting times. I like listening to all the vacuuming and cleaning going on. You know, I clean a lot in this house. I have to clean up after my pets. You know? A lot of hair and toys laying around. Food crumbs from the cookies and vacuuming. He gets the comforter dirty. So I vacuum that off. Shampoo stains out of the carpet. All kinds of stuff. And it's just nice to have other people in here doing it. No, I don't know what weld wire fencing is. Nope, this is just deer fencing, man. It's just the simplest thing. I've done barbed wire fence. Razor wire. That was fun. Razor wire is really fun to work with. Yeah. We were wearing big, thick leather gloves when we were laying it down. It still sucks. Brutal. Too bad I'm not at the other table, huh? So those, look at how it got bright out there. Is that weird? Huh. Now, was that the sun or was that my thing shutting off here? My thing shutting off. Those deer are all around that area where right around the plant where my fencing is up. And they're now able to get into that area, right? Enjoy more of the yard where they couldn't get before and not get anywhere near that plant. It's awesome. I got pictures of the tree fenced off and the deer eating all around it and not. Look at this. And not touching the tree. Look at that, man. Look at that. Isn't that great? So much better than what it was. Dude, it's such a... I can't wait to hammer those things into the ground. The poles into the ground when the hammer comes. And paint them green. Man, it's going to look so nice. You're not even going to see the fence. It's going to be like invisible fencing. Because the fencing is green. The poles are going to be green. Yeah, they're fruit trees. They're lemon and lime trees, I believe. Lemon trees. Citrus. You got a sprinkler on them, which they did not have before. Now they've got watering. I've got to go out there and cut that little piece of fence off. But Man, that's gonna make it. That just doing that is gonna make it look a lot nicer because it's funny how that is kind of like an eyesore. Just that extra fencing on it kind of stands out. And putting these stakes in straight is gonna make a difference. Yeah, I made a huge difference around here, that's for sure. Got rid of that stupid freaking light that was in the yard. Oh my god, man. It looks so much nicer without that thing. Got all the hedges trimmed, man. The grass is growing in. Now, like I said, the lawn maintenance guys are coming today to cut the yard. So that's gonna look awesome. This buck is starting to grow its antlers out. The antlers are about 4 inches off their skull. Those antlers grow fast. Man, they grow real fast. These deer are right here in the side yard now. I can get you a close-up shot of them actually. Pretty close. Just a nice window right here. Let's see. What is that? Was that the ground? I don't even know what that is. There you go. Yeah, check that shit out, man. And there they go. All three of them. 1, 2, 3, gone. I did find an antler. I've got a deer antler. I found it in the backyard. Yeah, I know it looks dark on there right now. I did find the daily. Alright, Arma. Okay, so what else is going on, man? We covered everything, I think, that we wanted to cover, didn't we? I have a little kafefi. Got a little kafefi left. You guys got anything left you want to talk about? So there's problems in your mind. That's fucked up. I'm not blind. The roof, they're putting on the crowning pieces. And it's looking really nice, man. The roof on this house. I walked out there this morning and I was like, wow, man. Once they put those pieces on, it really looks nice. Found deer. Yeah, I found a deer antler. Yeah, it's it's in the box over here behind me, I believe. Deer antler. Because, you know, there's deer all over the place. And plus, I'm right on the edge of the woods, you know. There's trees all through there. I could walk through there and probably find them. I don't think my back is going to get better, so I just want to go back to work. Oh. That sucks, man. Ugh. Dude, that Jimmy Dore thing, we were only halfway through it. It just keeps going. I just can't handle listening to Max Blumenthal talk about bullshit sometimes. I hate that guy, man. Oh, he starts talking about Donbass. Okay, let me see what he's talking about here. So, finally, Blumenthal stops talking right here.
The United States can find Ukraine on a map. So here it is. And so this is the part. So after the 2014 Maidan coup, these people didn't want to go along with the coup to just overthrow their democratically elected government. So they were fighting to not go along with it. And so the government of Ukraine and their Azov battalion, which is a neo-Nazi battalion, has been shelling and killing 14,000 of these people in the last 8 years. But there was an agreement for them to stop in 2014 called the Minsk Agreement, and there was supposed to be a ceasefire. They're supposed to withdraw their military from that area, and they were supposed to hold elections and let those people who live in this area have more autonomy. They didn't do any of that. They just keep killing them. And so that's why the spokesperson for Russia government said the other day that his actions are to end a war. He's not starting a war. That's what the Russian, and that makes a lot of sense. Now again, I want to go back and say, when I said that people are being duped into solidarity with the Ukraine people, which is a good thing. Nobody wants to see people be a victim of a war. But unwittingly, people are propping up a government that's unbelievably corrupt and in bed with neo-Nazis. So that's what I mean. I mean the people of Ukraine are neo-Nazis. I mean that their government is unbelievably corrupt and was the result of an overthrow of a democratically elected government. We helped do that, the United States. And then we kept funding their shelling and killing of these people here. We kept funding it. You want to see how I know this? Because, well, here's Adam Schiff admitting it.
The United States aids Ukraine and her people so that we can fight Russia over there and we don't have to fight Russia here.
Yeah, so it wasn't like Putin woke up one morning and decided to invade Ukraine. This has been, we've been warned against doing this for decades, and we kept doing it. And here's Lindsey Graham and John McCain going over there in this area that I just pointed out to you, talking to those people who were killing Ukrainians, and here's what they said.
I admire the fact that you will fight for your homeland. Your fight is our fight.
And Klobuchar.
Your fight is our fight. We saw this, so I won't play it again. I don't know why I guess he's just making a point, but which is fine. So you guys take care. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the hour and a half show. And I'll see you this afternoon sometime, okay? Bye, guys. You're welcome.